With the recent increase in Bitcoin prices or the exchange rate, something very interesting has happened. Old hard drives containing long-forgotten wallets are suddenly becoming buried treasure. I've seen this phenomenon play out several times with people gleefully reporting that they have found an old wallet while searching one of their old computers. I was reading an article on Reddit where a student had discovered an old wallet from 2010 and said, I have lots of student loans, but it seems I have 917 Bitcoin in this wallet. And I'm looking at the price and I'm not sure what to think. Can someone confirm? Am I really rich?
Woo!
It's such a great story. And then at the same time, you've got
beer.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, too much beer. Suddenly you've got these completely opposite stories. And one of the most interesting ones was a person who had discarded a hard drive, then realizing that on that hard drive were 7,500 Bitcoins, or about $7.5 million, or about 5 million pounds. This was in England. They know which dump or which landfill the hard drive went to. And now there's people with metal detectors digging through the landfill. So here we go. New industry. Treasure hunters looking for digitally encoded Bitcoin wallets that have appreciated in value. Imagine 100 years from now, Bitcoin is $10 million in equivalent today's money. And someone's looking for a great haul from a rusty hard drive or USB stick that was lost in the bottom of the Atlantic, and they're sending submersibles like looking for the Titanic.
I think there are also people who are starting businesses basically to not only help people recover their wallets, but also to, make a profit in the process. They're seeing a need that's unfilled in the market, which is recovery of old Bitcoins that are suddenly valuable. These things are starting up, whether it's people going out with metal detectors to this landfill in the UK, wherever it is, or people who are kind of disk diving and scouring old hard drives, maybe that have been like written over in some sectors to see if they can find that wallet.dat file and recover it somehow. I've heard a lot of stories about this in my personal life. Somebody who I know once very early on sent 65 Bitcoins to like an old Electrum wallet that they had since deleted. And they were trying to recover the old Electrum wallet with no luck. So they contracted it out to another person who was more computer savvy and said that he could have half if he was able to recover it. And then actually, I have a story that kind of relates to this. I've actually talked about this on the show before, so this is going to be a nice follow-up. I want to say it was like within our first 10 or 20 shows that I revealed that I had an old laptop where I had gotten some Bitcoins back in like 2011, early 2012. At the time, they were like $5 or less. I had about 12 Bitcoins in there. I had encrypted the wallet because at the time, everybody was saying, well, you got to encrypt your wallet, choose a strong passphrase. So I did. I didn't write it down and I kind of forgot it. And I had a vague idea of what it was, but not really enough to piece it back together. And there were a couple of times once I realized that I wasn't able to unlock the wallet that I tried to break into it. And every time the Bitcoin price went up, when it hit 100, I tried. When it hit 260, I spent a whole day trying to crack into it, trying different typos and combinations of what I thought the passphrase was. Didn't work. Then suddenly Bitcoin went up to about 400 and I was like, I gotta get this wallet cracked. And then at the same time, I actually heard about somebody, one of these entrepreneurs who's starting a wallet recovery business. It was walletrecoveryservices.com. It's Dave Bitcoin, not his real name, I'm sure. He wrote a brute force program. If you have some idea, like a vague idea of what you think the passphrase is, it can try different variations on that until hopefully the wallet is decrypted. So I thought, all right, well, these 12 coins are gone to me. I've written them off as gone, so I might as well try it and send it to him. And I sent him my wallet.dat file, although you don't have to, with him, he has a way to actually, you can send like partial information from the wallet without sending the whole wallet. So he couldn't like take the Bitcoins and run, supposedly. But I didn't do that. I just sent him the wallet.dat file. What the hell? I have a big microphone if he screwed me over, right? So I sent him the wallet.dat file and I sent him what I thought the passphrase was. And literally within a few hours, he was able to decrypt it and he sent me back 85% of the balance, which is what we had discussed before. So needless to say, I was really happy about that. Basically what it was, the passphrase was a sentence and I had the word and in there and I wasn't sure if it was and or an ampersand. And there were some capital letters that I had gotten wrong. I was really close, but when you're typing in a password, close doesn't count, as we all know. So yeah, I had a happy ending to my story, and maybe that can help some other people, because I'm sure there are people who are listening to our show who have the same issue, you know, that they made a wallet and they encrypted it and now they can't remember the password. So if you have that situation, you know, check out walletrecoveryservices.com. Maybe Dave can help you. I really hope people can recover their coins, whether it's a hard drive failure or in the trash or sending it to some weird address that maybe the private key got archived or something like that. I really hope that people can get them back. And maybe now there's an incentive to do so.
Well, yeah, Stephanie, the incentive is that they're worth so much now. So suddenly, you know, whereas a couple of months ago, that 12 Bitcoins might not have been worth his time. Now, even 15% of that 12 Bitcoins is worth his time. I mean, again, it's also relative.
Well, that's the big lesson here. The first lesson is that these businesses have an expanding market. As the price goes up, the things that are marginally recoverable become recoverable and then wildly profitable. And so that expands the market all the time from wallets. Eventually, it will be worth doing for a wallet that only contains a few hundred millibits, because that price will be worth doing and spending the computing power to do. The other thing to of course, take from this is don't delete anything ever, because you never know how much value it might have in the future. You might never know how recoverable it might be in the future. And if you think all hope is lost today, well, back that hope up and wait for the price to rise.
I actually have a story that's kind of taking the other end of this, you know, passwords thing. During the price spike up above $1,000, when we were near, you know, I think it was $1,150 or so, I actually received a couple of emails because a couple of my different accounts had been compromised. I set up a local Bitcoins account, maybe, I don't know, it would have been 7 or 8 months ago. And there hasn't really been much of a local scene in Napa, so I didn't really pay that much attention to it. I almost did a deal, so I had maybe a Bitcoin and a half sitting in a wallet there from a time, obviously, when they were much less expensive, and I didn't have two-factor on. And so even though I had a really long password on this particular account, not having two-factor led to my account being compromised. They actually tried to scam somebody else by telling them that they had dropped money into a night deposit and that they'd get confirmation for it in the morning. And so to send Bitcoins to it now, trying to use my identity, and it wasn't under my I don't know, B. Levine name, but it was crazy. And it was crazy. And I only found out about it because my email address was getting CC'd on these emails from this the buyer who was saying, I'm not sure if this is right. This seems a little odd. And so I was like, don't do it. And so, you know, we got it fixed. But yeah, no, it was crazy. So, you know, that was.
So you didn't lose that Bitcoin that was in there?
No, I did. That account is gone. I had them shut it off. The 1.5 Bitcoin I had in there was gone. That's okay. You know, like I said, when they're not worth so much, you find yourself with just some little ones lying around in various places that you sometimes forget about because they were worth a lot less at the time. So I kind of chalked this one up to that one. But also my BTCE account was almost compromised. It looked like the password had been because there was somebody logging in from somewhere else. And again, I didn't have two-factor on, but I had a different 12-character password on. So those long passwords really aren't doing it for me anymore. Maybe, you know, we're high profile enough that I'm being targeted. But more likely, I think it's just Bitcoin is valuable and, you know, it's worth it now to go through and do this stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. You can get paranoid. But I think you're right. It's just the incentive for theft increases as well as the incentive for recovering old wallets. And Bitcoins become buried treasure, and looters and thieves love buried treasure just as much as everybody else does, right?
Speaking of which, I just got a message on Reddit from the Bitcoin tip bot warning me that I had an excessive amount of Bitcoin in my tipping account. Well, of course, it wasn't excessive in the past, but now suddenly I had more than $500 equivalent in my about half a Bitcoin in my tipping account. A significant amount to be sticking around and tipping. So kudos to the Bitcoin tip bot developer who came up with the idea of notifying the owners that they have excessive amounts so they can start draining those out because it doesn't have the security, as he admitted, to handle those kinds of amounts. There's no two-factor. It's just for tipping, right? So you only need a few dollars in there. But this is exactly what's going to be happening. I found that I had some leftover in localbitcoins.com, some sitting around my wallet. Turns out several $1,000s. I had some leftover money in bitcoinstarter.com accounts that I had done, again, worth several $1,000s now. Go trawling and see what you can dig up. There's buried treasure out there.
When you shop with Bitcoin on Gift, you can get gift cards from over 200 retailers. Think of the possibilities. Not only is your holiday shopping taken care of in a snap from your Android device or on the web, but now you have a way to purchase everyday items from stores like Target, CVS, Gap, and GameStop using your Bitcoins. That's not even the best part. When you shop with Bitcoin on Gift, you get 3% back. Ready to shop? Visit GYFT.com today.
Happy holidays from Let's Talk Bitcoin. If you like the work we're doing, we appreciate Bitcoin tips of all sizes at letstalkbitcoin.com. Just as importantly, share the show with your peers and review the show on iTunes. Don't be kind, be honest. LTV reaches nearly 10,000 listeners, but has less than 50 reviews anywhere I can find. I'd very much appreciate your help in remedying this situation. Thanks for listening.